morning and welcome. You're on to Spirit TV and this is the morning newspaper briefing. My name is Double Gifts and I have Mr. Mustafa Abdul Malik with me in the studio. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
On this program, we bring you front pages of Nigerian dailies and we get to discuss them later on in the course of the show. I'll start off by reading the headlines of the Punch newspaper. It says here, boundary disputes worsen insecurity. 676 killed in states. 444 houses razed in communal clashes in Ebonyi, Kogi, Cross River, others. FG addressing 86 cases. Security experts, lawyers blame governors. CAN decries rising insecurity. Senate promises 2023 jumbo security allocation. Also on the Punch newspaper, Akeredolu apologizes to clerics over Muslim to Muslim tickets. Passport issuance rises by 38% more. More Nigerians relocate. 5 killed in Ifeanyi Uba's convoy attack. Also Lagos flooding, rescuers recovered 2 corpses, save 9. The Nation newspaper, it says here, PDP in distress, says Autumn. Benue governor blames Atiku/Wike rifts on leaders. Pardon, I bear no grudge against anybody, says Nyame. INEC cancels 1 million voter registrations. Ineligible entries voided. JAMB insists on no biometric, no examination policy. Scores killed as NAF jets hit terrorist hospital. APC Campaign Council accuses Obi of playing ethnic card. 2023, EU cautions politicians against hate speech and violence. The Vanguard newspaper, it says here, 2023, Akeredolu, Gumi differ on same faith tickets. Also attack on Uba, 2 policemen, 3 civilians killed, 2 hospitalized, police. ASU strike, court defers hearing on FG suit till Friday. Civilian JTF kills 9 terrorists, arrest 5 in Katsina. Presidency, Tinubu not ill, won't withdraw from race, campaign council. Also PDP crisis, Wike keeps party leaders guessing. No fund for 2023 election petition, tribunals, a court president laments. Leadership newspaper, it says here, in final push for reconciliation, PDP leaders move to pacify Wike, others. Passengers stranded at airports as unions protest anti-labor bill. INEC delists 1.1 million voters over double registration ineligibility. Ekwuremadu's daughter says father diagnosed with acute kidney damage begs for donor. The Daily Sun newspaper, it says here, Tinubu Obi clash as Atiku faces editors. We need competence, not it's my turn to rule, LP candidates tells APC standard bearer. Obi concocting lies against ex-Lagos Governor Campaign Council. Editors to interrogate Atiku on policy plans. Outrage, anger trail deadly attack on Senator Uba. Angry Senate moves against oil thieves, urges security forces to go after them. Also on the Daily Sun newspaper, Wike taunts Amechi, challenges him to enter presidential villa. The Nigerian Tribune, it says here, floods hit Ekiti, Niger, Lagos. 9 rescued as building sinks. 2 adults missing. School fence collapses, kills 2 children in Lagos. Passengers stranded as Mina Bida Road caves in. FG vs ASU. Court adjourns proceedings till Friday. Government's actions condemnable, Falana. 2 policemen, 2 aides, 1 other killed in Uba's convoy attack, police. Ekwuremadu's ailing daughter publicly appeals for kidney donor. Pay 10 million naira to family of slain Kogi PDP woman leader, ECOWAS calls others FG. Also, INEC should operate free from outside pressure, EU tells FG, advises politicians against violence and hate speech. The last newspaper is the Daily Trust newspaper, and it says here, aviation workers shut airports over new law, insists banning union activities illegal. Issue 14-day strike notice, passengers stranded. Minister denies smuggling in new clauses. FG versus ASU, court adjourns hearing to September 16th. Concerns over non-assent to Nigerian startup bill. I attempted killing my dad 3 times to inherit his money, son. And then Obi to Tinubu, presidency not turn by turn. We will activate our structures in 774 local governments for Obi, NLC president. We have golden opportunity to address challenges, LP chair. Parents cautious as schools resume in states. Also, 2 swept away, 9 rescued as flooding hits Niger, Ekiti and Lagos. Those are the headlines we have. Please stay with us. We'll be back after this break. Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. Mr. Mustafa, let's talk about Obi and Tinubu. Peter Obi has called out the APC presidential candidates. Remember, months back, in one of his speeches, he said it's his turn for the presidency, and now the Labour Party candidate has come out to say the presidency is not a turn-by-turn thing. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, we're in a political time. 2023 election is just around the corner. We may think that it's still very long. It's not no more long again. And by 28th of this month, the real politicking, electioneering campaign will begin. INEC will leave the ban, and all the political parties would slug it out with one another. They have already started. Well, the only thing is that whatever Peter Obi said regarding Tinubu, the APC presidential candidate, is in order. The only thing that we'll talk about is that as the frontline candidate, they should play it by the rules so that they should not give that room to their followers to indulge in fake hate speech, fake news, and some other things. They should just remember that, look, 2023 is just one part of Nigeria history. It will come to pass, and the election will be held, and the winner will emerge. They should just play the politics by the rule. They shouldn't create a kind of a scenario that it end up with hate speech and cause disaffection here and there. Because I have been following the trend since yesterday till now. It becomes a situation whereby the APC group and the Labour Party attacking one another on social media here and there, up to the extent that this morning Femi Fani-Kayode put up something that and said Peter Obi is he called Peter Obi a bigot that is trying to stoke hate between Yoruba and the Igbos. Well, it's to me it's more or less it's going somehow messy, which is not supposed to be so. They should remember that we have more than 2023 presidency. In 2015 we saw between Jonathan and President Buhari, and just within the space of 7 years now, Buhari is about leaving power now. You understand? So although we give kudos to Goodluck Jonathan, he has been able to play that gentleman politics that it didn't degenerate to that level. According to Femi Fani-Kayode, he said Peter Obi is having plan B. Plan B is to stoke hate, ethnic hate, and then whereby Nigeria will be ignited by another round of civil war. To me, this is much more a serious thing. It's no longer politics. Although in politics, every opportunity counts.
Right, moving on, still on the APC, apparently the same faith ticket controversy is still a problem, as Ondo State Governor has tried to persuade Christians to look beyond religion and then focus on the competence of the candidates. Meanwhile, Sheikh Gumi has come out to say the plot of the same faith tickets is deceitful.
Well, the fact is that there's no way that Governor Akeredolu will say the Nigerians will just forget and just move forward just like that. Because the moment APC decided to field that same faith ticket, we should expect that it will receive a backlash. Certainly, the 2023, in terms of APC, there will be, or it's already there. It's going to be about religion. And that is why you now discover that people like Akeredolu, they are coming out to beg and pacify the Christian community, the Nigerians who are Christians, that look, it's not about religion, but about competence. If you are talking about competence, okay, is it saying that among the Christian community there is nobody that is competent to deputize APC presidential candidate? So to me, it's more or less like they have already made mistake, and they should be able to come out clear to say, okay, we have made mistake. Otherwise, if they continue this way, I don't see a situation whereby Nigerians will just troop out and say, okay, they will cast their vote for APC. Certainly, we don't see that, because if you look at even before the unveiling of Shetima, there was already some debate here and there, and conversation here and there, and controversy here and there until he unveiled him. You recall that some Christian elders from the north, they came out to say, look, they blew a whistle ahead to say, okay, this is what APC is planning to do. And eventually, instead of to prove them wrong, they now did that. So it's more or less like the die has been cast. So, and what we see now is just it. APC, to me, I've been saying it before, that look, they are the ruling party. Being the ruling party, they ought to set the pace, to set the standard, to set the example, to say, okay, of an inclusiveness, instead of running a show whereby you exclude certain people from the race. We don't even know the danger of it. By the time, okay, let's say by the time they win the 2023 election, it means the president being a Muslim, the vice president being a Muslim, probably if the secretary to the government of the federation too happens to be a Muslim too, you understand, then we're talking about service chief. It's a whole lot of things. Why are we where we are now today in terms of the decay and the rot in our system in Nigeria today? Remember that a lot of people call out to say, okay, Buhari now ran a kind of a lopsided appointment in the security sector, and of which people now blame him to say, okay, because of his choice in the security sector, which does not give that representation to every part of Nigeria, that is why the security chiefs are unable to tame the problem. And the same process is what APC is now doing now. So Sheikh Gumi is right. To me, whatever thing the APC is trying to say now, they did what they did. It's not like somebody forced them to do it, but it's them that did it. When you understand that in politics you will just want to vote, and you now decide to just ignore certain reality, you are setting a bad example, and that is the example they have set so far.
Sheikh Gumi also said that Nigeria is in need of a leader that is going to unite the country. So do you see this plot being, should I call it a scheme for this disunity in the country?
Well, if you are a student of history, you understand that, look, that right from the colonial time, issue regarding unity of Nigeria it has always been a burning issue, right from the colonial time. And then you discover that the independence constitution now give room to say, okay, we should have a federal character, we should have the quota system, and all this is just to create that enabling environment to galvanize all Nigerians together. That sense of belonging should be there. So if Sheikh Gumi is talking about unity, Probably, you know, Atiku has been running his campaign on as a unifier. That is what he referred to himself, that is a unifier. Probably, to me, although Gumi didn't mention a name, probably that is where he's referring to, say, okay, we need a unifier. And to me, if you're asking me, I will tell you that, look, APC, Labour Party is more or less like an opposite of APC. You discover that people that are reacting towards what happened in APC are now in Labour Party. So to me, the only neutral person now is Atiku. Probably that is the person that is referring to say, okay, a unifier. And truly, what we need now is a unifier. Because if you look at it critically, from 2015 to 2016, 2017, you now discover that a certain part of Nigeria are now clamoring to cede from Nigeria. And you discover that if we allow this to continue, eventually what we are trying to avoid, that is disintegration of Nigeria, to me, may God forbid, it will eventually happen. Because you have a certain section now to say, okay, we don't want to be part of Nigeria. And then until Sunday Igboho was arrested in Benin Republic, there was a certain clamor for a sovereign entity in the Southwest too. So we actually need a unifier in 2023. If there's anything that we urgently need, it's just that unifier to unify and galvanize all Nigerians to say, okay, they should come together. And if you ask me, I will say, look, a good candidate should be able to catch on that to say, okay, I'm going to run an all-inclusive government, whereby a unity government. That is what I believe. And that is what some of us will look forward to Buhari to say, okay, he will run an inclusive government by unity government in 2015. Instead of that, he now decided to like jettison something like that, and he did it, and you can see the result.
Moving on to the PDP, apparently the PDP crisis is still ongoing because some governors are moving towards pacifying Governor Wike. But last week we saw in the news that regardless of the rifts between Atiku and Wike, the party has moved forward because they decided not to remove the party chairman, and then they also went ahead with other plans in the party. But today in the news we can see that some of the leaders of the PDP are moving towards pacifying Governor Wike.
Well, it's really sad. It's sad that we end up this way, because if democracy is supposed to be beyond that. Democracy should not be about an individual, but as it is now, present democracy now is more or less like an individual. If as a party, a constitutional democracy whereby you have party is supposed to be much more powerful than the individual that run on their platform. If you look at it now, only a single governor is holding a political party to ransom. That is what it means. And even in the APC too, the same thing too. Even in Labour Party and some other political party, that is the same thing. That is not how a democracy is supposed to be. Well, whether PDP, they are trying to to say, okay, they have been talking. Recall that some weeks ago, Atiku and Wike, they met in London in the process of reconciliation. But the problem keeps escalating every day. To me, the PDP too, just like APC too, they have done their own worst. So I don't see the possibility of Wike coming within the fold, whatever. I don't know. We don't know the details of how they are trying to pacify him. He came out. He said, "Okay, this is the only condition that the party must meet for him to work with them." And of which he said the party chairman should relinquish a seat. Of the party chairman said, "Okay." Just last week, now we now saw what happened. Now they gave him vote of confidence, which it means that
he remains,
and for him to remain, it means they will still continue to remain at loggerhead, because the main thing that is tearing them apart, first of all, is defeat at the party primary, then the issue of who becomes a running mate, and then now, you understand? So I don't see Wike being pacified. Whatever way they are trying to pacify him to say, okay, he should remain and work for Atiku's 2023, I don't see that. They should tell themselves the truth.
Also, in one of the newspapers, Wike taunts Amechi, challenging him to enter the presidential villa. What are your thoughts?
Well, this is more or less like a petty thing. You understand? So you know that he's a governor of a state, a chief executive officer of a state. So there are certain things that he's supposed to avoid saying, you understand? So this, to me, we are in a very serious and a dire situation whereby all this kind of petty talk, we shouldn't be something that a particular chief executive should be saying. Well, what I don't know how they end up like that. Probably that is what their fans, their supporters like. You understand? You know, in our climb here, I'm sorry to use this, that we like hypocrisy. You understand? So, and at times you discover that instead of a leader to set that record, to set the agenda for the followers, here we like to do things that appease the followers. And to me, if you ask me, I will say Nyesom Wike is more or less doing what pleases his followers, what his fans they want to hear. Otherwise, Amechi is no longer the minister today. Whatever is his record, it's not about Rivers and Amechi. It's about Nigeria and Amechi, and he has already played his own card. He has left. He should just leave it like that.
Moving on, we are told that floods hit Ekiti State, Niger State, and then Lagos State. And then 2 people were swept away by the flood, apparently, and 9 other people were rescued from a sinking building. Yeah. What are your thoughts on this story?
It's unfortunate that I don't see Nigeria having an emergency, a good contingency emergency plan. I don't see that here, because before now, even last year or sometimes this year, we saw a conference, the COP26 conference that is on climate change. We should see that look, we are at a time whereby we witness unusual rain. You understand? All these are effect of climate change. Whether we like it or not, Nigerians must key into it to say, okay, we are going to expect this. Before now, we have the government prepared ahead to say, okay, this is a perennial issue of this flooding. Have they done anything to say, okay, this is what we are going to do to curtail the effect of a flood? They have not done anything. Each year we continue to witness flood, and it keep on increasing. Even to some states that are not prone to the flood before are now witnessing flood, but nothing has been done. So to me, we should have a Federal Minister of Environment. They should wake up to their task. Otherwise, if it continues like this, it certainly to affect our way of life. This flood they are talking about is swept away farms. It means those farmland. It means the crop planted there, they won't be harvested, and since there won't be harvest, it will affect the cost of food and all. That is what it means, and that is why the government, being the policy maker, they should step in. Whatever thing that is causing this flood, they should plan ahead, because I believe that if there's a plan ahead, no matter what, they should be able to mitigate within the climate change.
Yesterday we saw on social media that Ekwuremadu's daughter came out publicly to seek for a donor, and then this is coming months after her father's arrest. Yes, exactly. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I believe that it's really sad that Ekwuremadu is being caught in a mess like this, whereby his daughter is being involved. This is about health. Nobody is above ill health. But if the family had come out earlier to say, okay, we're appealing for a donor, I don't see them falling into this problem they are in today. It's really sad. I wish her the best of luck.
Hopefully she gets a match, a donor, and then that is resolved. That's the news we're taking this morning. Thanks for joining us. My name is Dabir Gifts, and I've had Mr. Mustafa Abdul Malik with me. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are Aspheric TV on YouTube, and also follow us on all of our social media platforms. On Instagram and Twitter, we are Aspheric News, and on Facebook, we are official Aspheric News. Thanks for watching. Bye.